are back with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So it's not looking good for Cardi B. Off the Cheat's brother posted my nephew, okay, on Instagram a few days ago. Off the Cheat posted that basically Cardi B's new baby that she just recently had is his, okay? Now, of course, he went on the Breakfast Club telling lies, saying that he didn't really post that and it was made up, but we don't believe him at all. Let me know how y'all feel about it. Here's my thing. I feel like low-key, it could be a 50% chance that it could be his, hypothetically. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like, you know, Cardi B, she's not always 100% faithful, okay? If you was texting somebody while you was pregnant last year, you could have been trying to, you know, sleep with Off the Cheat, hypothetically. You know, not saying that you want to get back with him, but I can see her having a one-night stand with Off the Cheat if her and Stefan Diddy were going through it, okay? That's just my opinion on it. Not only that, Cardi B gets humiliated at the United Nations after Mike Waltz threw some subliminal shade at Cardi B, basically calling Cardi B dumb and Nicki Minaj smart.
Other people in your industry have the courage or the brains, really. You're very smart, you know. Some of your rivals are not so smart, believe it or not.
Trump says.
So let me know how y'all feel about that. Here's the thing. I feel like it's universally known that Cardi B is probably one of the slowest people on earth. But I think people like the fact that she's a little bit dumb because not only was Off the Cheat able to master manipulate her for 7 years while they were married, but she also is a puppet to the industry. Cardi B was basically an industry plant. You know, a lot of people don't really talk about that. But let's not forget, yes, you know, she was somewhat popular on Instagram, but that wasn't just by accident. Yeah, you know, she has a personality, but her personality wasn't that great. Let's not also forget that she did admit to drugging and robbing men, and it looks like a lot of people do want her to be held accountable for that, okay, even though it happened years ago. Now, everybody is talking about Cardi B going on Spaces and talking about basically how Off the Cheat has threatened her and she fears for her life, but some fans are saying on social media that Cardi B needs to be held accountable because she also talked about drugging and robbing men. So it looks like finally people want to hold Cardi B accountable for her actions. But do I fully believe that she'll ever be fully accountable? No. I think Cardi B is going to continue to get away with stuff because at the end of the day, she is always going to be an industry puppet. So I don't fully believe that she ever fully will be held accountable, but it's wishful thinking, okay? I do feel like if, you know, Diddy and other celebrities should be held accountable for their actions, so should Cardi B, even if it happened years ago, in my opinion. So moving on from that, a lot of fans are calling out Doja Cat because she is starting her world tour for V, and she performed Get Into It, Yeah, but she did not say, I love you, Nicki, like she usually do. Okay, well, one thing we have to do is give Doja Cat her 10s because that breath control is insane. Doja Cat is one of the best female rap performers. I'm talking about strictly female rap. I'm not talking about of all time or when it comes to other great performers like Beyonce and obviously MJ and Chris Breezy. But for female rappers, she's definitely one of the best. You gotta give her tens. As for her not saying I love you, Nicki, at the end, well, I feel like she probably feel like it's no point. The barbs are off her. You guys did not support V. You let it sell 57,000 first week. Prior to V, for Scarlett, she did 72,000. And for Planet Her, she did 100,000. So she probably feel like the barbs are off her. She don't need a pander, anymore. She doesn't need a pander to the barbs anymore. And then on top of that, Nicki don't fuck with her. So she's like, what am I going to say I love you, Nicki, for if you don't really fuck with me like that? That was one of the reasons why she didn't do Cowgirl, because she said that she didn't believe Nicki really liked her like that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Nicki did. If I had to be completely honest, I don't think she dislikes Doja Cat like she does Cardi B or Megan. Let's be very clear. But I don't think she really cared for Doja Cat like that. Okay? So, with that being said, I get, both ends. I get Nicki's side, I get Doja Cat's side. Now, Doja Cat was also clapping back at the fans too. Fans called her out for not having no outfit changes for her new tour V. She said, who effing cares? I'm singing my music for the people who want to hear me sing. You're not even at the effing show. She said, you follow me, but you don't really care about my music. So it looks like Doja Cat is upset that fans have not supported V and let it fly. Now, moving on to Nicki Minaj. A lot of fans are speculating that Nicki Minaj is pregnant. They are saying she looks pregnant at the United Nations event, which she spoke on about the, people that are getting prosecuted and harmed in Nigeria because of their religion. And so with that being said, she popped out, gave her speech. I did talk about my thoughts on the speech yesterday in a shorts that I did yesterday. So go check that out if you missed it. But, now fans are trying to say that she's pregnant. Like, give it up, okay? First of all, I don't think that she looked pregnant. That ass was sitting. And I feel like, Nicki Minaj, her weight might fluctuate like most women, okay? Her weight might fluctuate, but she definitely wasn't given pregnant because she didn't have no stomach, okay? Pregnant means stomach. It don't mean ass, okay? The ass was given. It looked very juicy and fat, but it didn't give pregnancy vibes. I think people were just looking at something to nitpick. People were picking apart her speech. And like I said before, the only thing I didn't particularly care for in the speech is when she was thanking the Orange Grinch because, in her speech, she did talk about, this is not about one side or another and, division within, your beliefs. But let me know how y'all feel about it. If you guys believe that, Nicki Minaj is pregnant. I don't really feel like she is pregnant. I think that she's just eating good, okay? But, I know people like to pick on especially women celebrities' bodies more than men bodies. I feel like people nitpick at Nicki and a lot of celebrities because they feel like they can and it's easier to pick on women. But I don't feel like it really was a big of a deal. So moving on to Megan Thee Stallion. Megan's team, her lawyers are trying to make it seem like Milagro is stalking her. It has been reported in court that in Milagro's phone, she had Megan Thee Stallion's address. Okay? And so I guess they're trying to show evidence of Milagro stalking Megan Thee Stallion. Now, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, most celebrity addresses, not just Nicki Minaj's, most celebrity addresses are public. That's why they always get robbed. Let's be very clear. I mean, it's not really that hard to find Megan Thee Stallion's address. I'm sure she looked on Google. And on top of that, maybe she wanted to send Megan Thee Stallion a peace offering at that moment in time, like some flowers or something. It's clear as day that she wasn't trying to harm Megan. But I feel like most celebrity addresses are public. So screenshotting a celebrity address is not really a big deal because anybody could do that. Okay, it's not just Nicki Minaj address that's public. If you do your research, you can find Beyonce's address. Okay, you can find where the Kardashians. That's why the Kardashians always get robbed. You know, it wasn't just Kim. Kendall got robbed. Khloe has gotten robbed. I mean, celebrity addresses are public. It's not a secret because they're so fucking famous. Okay, that's how it works. Now, moving on from that, SZA and TEMS allegedly are working on a collaboration. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Now, TEMS is fire. She worked with Future, Champagne Thickums, Justin Bieber, WizKid. She pretty fire. I think SZA should probably write for TEMS, even though TEMS probably is a better writer and a better singer and a better performer. I don't think SZA can compete with TEMS when it comes to talent. I think SZA can write. Vocally, she's not the best. Vocally, she's not the best. I have seen her perform. She's an okay performer, but I've seen way better. I've seen Beyonce, so that's the top of the list. But the point of the matter is, I'm here for a collaboration, but I would prefer if SZA was maybe doing background vocals and maybe helping TEMS write a song. I think the song definitely would go top 10, but we know SZA has minimal talent. Now, moving on from that, I've been trying to leave Champagne Thickums alone, okay? Because I already know he's going through a lot, okay? With that being said, though, I do have to give him 50,000 lashes because he posted up with Sexy Red. Not mad at that. They have a few collaborations. They're cool. It makes sense. She was sleeping with him at one more time. So I'm not mad that they were posted up. But then he liked a shady comment, saying Serena Williams upgrade. Like, come on now. Stop. Sexy Red could never in a million years ever live up to Serena Williams, who's an icon. Never. Let's just be very clear. You know, I understand why he has animosity. Well, actually, I don't understand why he has animosity towards Serena Williams, because you was dissing her first. You dissed her and her husband in a song. You said that her husband was a groupie. She responded by being petty and dancing to Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. And now it seems like, I guess you're upset about that. But I mean, my whole thing with Champagne Thickums, and I think everybody could agree, he's the only male rapper that constantly always dissing or subliminally dissing women. The only person you need to be dissing is Kendrick Lamar. Because ever since Not Like Us, it hasn't been the same for you. So that's my whole thing. I feel like ever since Not Like Us, things have not been the same. But you be throwing slick shots at Rihanna. You be throwing slick shots at Serena Williams. Your op is Kendrick Lamar. That's who you need to be dissing. I personally don't respect men that's always dissing women. It comes off a little bit weird. Even though this is a subliminal diss, I feel like you really shouldn't be dissing Serena Williams because she didn't make Not Like Us. Not Like Us is a bop. And you dissed her first on a song. Okay? You dissed her husband. You called him a groupie. So her responding to that by dancing to Not Like Us, y'all even. That's how I look at it. But I don't understand how women could side with Champagne Thickums when he don't even like y'all. He be the first one to diss women. No other male rapper constantly disses women, like celebrity women like Champagne Thickums. You don't see no other male rapper do it except him. Okay? So it's just kind of weird and odd, in my opinion. Now, moving on to Megan. A lot of fans are speculating that Megan might be pregnant. You know, she just moved in with her boo, Klay Thompson. You know, she's in her lover girl era. And she was at trial with a little bump. And the bump wasn't in the back. Okay, well, she do got ass, but there was a little tiny bump in the front. Now, in my opinion, I don't feel like that means that she's pregnant. You know, I think people's weight fluctuates, especially when you're a woman. And I feel like people just be exaggerating a little bit when it comes to what celebrity is pregnant and what celebrity is not. Okay, I think people just be reading too much into it. But she did have a bump. But she could be bloated. She could be on her period. She could have eaten, a grilled cheese sandwich and some spaghetti that she always made, Klay Thompson. Now, people do get pregnant quickly, mostly Cardi B. But I don't know. I feel like I don't really feel like, in my opinion, that this means that she's pregnant. But I guess we'll find out in the next few months. Now, moving on to Musty Walker. Musty Walker's Finally Over It is aiming for a top 5 debut on next week's Billboard 200 album chart, selling 59 to 63 units first week, according to Hits Daily Double. Hits Daily Double is not always accurate, as we witnessed a few days ago, but usually, they're on the ball. They're on the money. Here's my thing. I think this might not include per sales, because the last album, she did 166,000 first week. I feel like this would be a flop for Musty Walker. And, there's a lot of people that try to act like selling 50,000 and 60,000 first week is good when you're in the streaming era. And it's absolutely terrible. Okay? A lot of sales get dumbed down for black artists. A white artist, like Post Malone, even when Iggy was hot, Iggy wasn't doing no 50,000 first week when she was hot. I feel like a lot of sales get dumbed down for black artists. Like, black artists could do 20,000 first week. People are like, oh yeah, that's good. No, that's not. That's trash. You're flopping. This is not good for Summer Walker. Let's be very clear. This would be a chop. I'm going to tell you why it's a chop. Because she put out 3 singles. You're nominated for Scammy. Now, Scammies don't always equate sales. But I feel like, Summer, you did 166,000 your last album. This album do 59,000. That's 100K difference. That's over 100K difference. That's unacceptable. Now, in hindsight, she didn't really have no hits. If she had listened to me and listened, I was right. Y'all need to give me my prop. I said she should have had SZA, Kalani, instead of Mariah the Clown and Sexy Red and Gorilla Glue. I mean, the collaborations were trash. I said that already. And then, instead of C Breezy, no shade the colorist, she should have called Leon Thompson. He's hot right now. C Breezy's not going to help these R&B girls sell, because there's always going to be, like, majority of women that don't like Chris Brown. That's why he don't even do 100K first week. If you look at his last 2 albums, he's not doing 100K first week. Super talented, though. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like she should have called Leon Thompson. He's hot right now. Should have called Kalani and SZA. That would have been better than all the collaborations she had on this album. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Nicki, Sydney Sweeney's, and D0JA on Patreon. Link in description, and I hope you guys have a great day.